Woke up, I look at the computer say, Floyd said, T.I. I'm like, what did he say me for? Now, your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your I said, say fuck that nigga.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to.
In the federal guidelines, where you can have 10 machine guns and get 1 year of community service and 1 year incarcerated.
T.I. is in an interrogation room talking. He's snitching. I thought we don't talk to the police.
I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, you know, we play rough, but we ain't.
When two hip-hop heavyweights go head-to-head, it's never just about music hits about pride, power, and respect. The feud between 50 Cent and T.I. has exploded into one of rap's most talked-about rivalries. But why did it start, and how far will it really go? Let's break it all down. The long-standing rivalry between 50 Cent and T.I. continues to simmer, showing little chance of resolution. Recently, 50 Cent reignited the tension by openly expressing his disdain for T.I., explaining why he believes the Atlanta rapper doesn't command the same level of respect or broad appeal in the music industry. His remarks once again stirred conversations among fans and critics alike. During a celebratory weekend in Miami, 50 reflected on his birthday festivities while joking about money matters. He emphasized the importance of accountability, making it clear that financial commitments should be honored without delay. In his typical blunt fashion, he illustrated the point by imagining a scenario where someone borrows $1,000, highlighting that repayment is expected promptly, preferably by Monday. The night also brought unexpected moments. Backstage, Snoop Dogg made an appearance, lighting up in his signature style. The energy was heavy, the smoke thick, and even those not partaking felt its effect. Amid the haze, conversations turned to business. A promoter stepped in, but money disputes quickly surfaced, underlining the ever-present connection between performance and payment in the industry. By July 6, 50 reminded everyone that grace periods don't last forever. He acknowledged taking time to enjoy himself, but ultimately circled back to business, making sure dues were settled. His words carried both humor and seriousness, a reflection of how he blends entertainment with sharp financial awareness. Later, the discussion shifted to music itself. Listeners were encouraged to pay attention to a particular track not because it required deep analysis, but because of a pointed lyric aimed squarely at another rapper. When asked about the line, 50 neither dodged nor softened his stance. Instead, he confidently claimed that his legal team is unmatched, reinforcing his reputation for being as strategic off the mic as he is fierce on it. 50 Cent has always been vocal about his confidence. And when asked about his legal team, he doubled down. "I've got the best lawyers money can buy." He pointed out that anyone else caught with 10 weapons in a car would likely be facing nearly a decade in prison. His lyrics, often pulled from real-life scenarios, walk the line between entertainment and pointed commentary. When pressed on whether certain bars were aimed directly at T.I., 50 insisted that if he truly had an issue with another artist, he'd be direct, there'd be no mistaking it. Instead, he crafts lines that reflect the conversations many people are already having, but might be too timid to say aloud. One of those lines stirred major controversy. "I got the best lawyers money can buy. They said it would have got me 10 or maybe 9. I said, well, how do you explain how homie breezed? They said you keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese, you so tough." Listeners quickly linked this to T.I., though 50 kept his stance deliberately vague, framing it as commentary on hip-hop culture at large. Still, he made it clear, if a feud needed to become real, he wasn't one to hold back. That tension reignited when 50 Cent took to Instagram, posting a resurfaced clip of T.I. admitting that years ago, after his cousin died, he agreed to let the blame for their shared gun case fall on him. T.I. justified it by saying, "If you can walk away free and put it on me, goddamn right." But 50 couldn't resist twisting the knife, pairing the old video with his lyric about lawyers and eating the cheese, a not-so-subtle jab at T.I.'s credibility. This wasn't the first time their clash made headlines. Their feud traces back to when 50 mocked T.I. by reposting an old Crime Stoppers commercial, something that struck fans as ironic, given T.I.'s reputation as a street rapper. T.I. fired back by challenging 50 to a versus battle, but 50 dismissed the idea outright, telling him to respectfully stay away. Rumors even swirled about T.I. seeking a role in 50's hit TV series Power. But that possibility was quickly shut down, further proof of their bad blood. To make matters worse for T.I., his week spiraled after feeling betrayed by a close associate, named Bowie, only to then face ridicule, online fueled of course, by 50 Cent, who has built a career on being unapologetically petty. In a bid to reclaim momentum, T.I. renewed his Versus challenge, framing it as a battle for hip-hop legitimacy. But when 50 brushed it off again, T.I. escalated his critique, suggesting that 50's career benefited heavily from East Coast bias. According to him, New York's status as the birthplace of hip-hop gave its artists a pedestal that others, particularly from the South, were rarely afforded. While acknowledging New York's legendary lyricists, T.I. argued that some rappers from the region were overrated, elevated simply because of their geography rather than their talent. At one point, T.I. even tried to minimize 50 Cent's legacy by comparing him to Nelly. If 50 Cent were from the Midwest, he'd be Nelly, Tip claimed, but the comparison didn't quite hold up. Nelly does boast an impressive track record, including his 2000 debut Country Grammar, which went diamond. However, T.I. incorrectly suggested that Nelly had 2 diamond albums. His 2002 follow-up Nelly fell about 4 million copies short of that milestone. Still, when it comes strictly to sales, T.I. wasn't completely off base. Nelly's catalog features multiple multi-platinum albums, a platinum project with the Saint Lunatics, and an additional pair of platinum solo efforts. 50 Cent, on the other hand, has 2 multi-platinum solo releases, a platinum-selling soundtrack, and a multi-platinum album with G on it. While their numbers stack up differently, both artists left undeniable marks on early 2000s hip-hop. T.I.'s jab was less about numbers, though, and more about cutting 50 down during their escalating war of words. The tension between them sharpened after 50 reposted T.I.'s old Crime Stoppers PSA on Instagram, a move that T.I. saw as bait. Instead of ignoring it, the Atlanta rapper leaned into the feud, firing back with a direct challenge. "I'll take this as an acceptance of the catalog battle. Set this up so I can finally shut this watermelon head down, invisible neck up, once and for all." He didn't stop there. T.I. mocked the clip itself, dismissing it as cute, old, outdated, and in poor taste, much like your catalog, 50 Cent. As the back and forth heated up, T.I. hyped the moment further, rallying energy behind the idea of stepping outside and proving himself in a head-to-head showdown.
They're mutual friends, and I was actually in conversation with one of them, and they was around him. So they said they left. I didn't tell them to get him on the phone, and he didn't tell them to get me on the phone. It was just dead, and it's like, yo, you just need to talk to him because you don't know where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and we get into it, and I mean, he had a lot of legitimate points. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause when you're going through something and it's like the press will ask you questions about things, when they'll ask other artists that are relevant to the culture things about artists that
they're just current.
Yeah, that are just going through something, and your response impacts harder than it would at any other point.
Yeah, as we all saw on Twitter, like that one little thing, it started a whole new, people talking crazy.
Right, and then you get the people who want to fight. It's there, so like they'll start to champion that, like, yeah, go, and then when they find out that it's not gonna actually happen, and I'm the source of where they find out at, they go, oh, they try to make the fight.
50 Cent and T.I. have taken their feud to the internet, transforming social media into their battleground of choice. What began as subtle jabs has escalated into a steady stream of posts, captions, and clapbacks, with both rappers refusing to back down. The back and forth has become relentless, each comment sharpening the tension, each post fueling the fire, making it clear that neither side is interested in letting the rivalry cool off anytime soon. What makes this clash particularly fascinating is how it blends two eras of hip-hop into one ongoing narrative. 50 Cent, the Queens-born rap mogul, built his reputation in the early 2000s as a battle-tested figure who thrived on controversy. His entire brand was sharpened through confrontation, whether it was his historic feud with Ja Rule and Murder, Inc., his shots at established legends like Jay-Z and Nas, or his relentless trolling of anyone who dared question his dominance. For 50, beef isn't just drama, it's strategy. His sharp tongue, ruthless humor, and no-nonsense bravado turned him into one of the most feared voices in rap. He carried that same energy from music into television, entrepreneurship, and social media, becoming a cultural figure who can humiliate rivals with nothing more than a meme and a caption. On the other hand, T.I. represents the pride and resilience of the South. Emerging from Atlanta in the early 2000s, he branded himself as the King of the South, a title that was both ambitious and controversial at the time. For T.I., the crown wasn't just about sales or hits, it was about putting Southern rap on the same pedestal as East Coast and West Coast hip-hop, which for years had dominated mainstream conversations. T.I.'s catalog, packed with both street anthems and mainstream crossover records, gave him the credibility to back up his claim. Yet, despite his accomplishments, he has long faced criticism and ridicule from rivals who question his authenticity, pointing to incidents like his old Crime Stoppers PSA or his public legal troubles. When these two worlds collided, it created the perfect storm. Their feud wasn't just about personal dislike, it tapped into larger conversations about geography, authenticity, and legacy in hip-hop. For decades, New York rappers were seen as the standard-bearers of lyricism, toughness, and cultural authority. Southern artists, meanwhile, were often dismissed as country, accused of lacking depth or relying too heavily on catchy beats, rather than lyrical substance. Although Atlanta eventually rose to dominate modern hip-hop, the scars from those early dismissals still linger, and T.I. has often positioned himself as a defender of the South's honor. This dynamic played out clearly on social media. Every time 50 Cent posted a jab, whether it was an old Crime Stoppers clip, a sarcastic birthday message, or a recycled interview snippet, T.I. fired back with challenges, taunts, and reminders that the South was no longer to be overlooked. Their exchanges weren't just entertainment for fans. They became symbolic of the ongoing tension between regions, with T.I. carrying the flag for Atlanta and 50 continuing his role as the brash, unfiltered New Yorker. What makes the feud so captivating is the way both rappers have mastered the art of performance outside the booth. In the streaming and social media era, hip-hop beefs no longer live only in diss tracks, they play out in Instagram captions, Twitter threads, and viral videos. 50, of course, has elevated this to an art form, with his trolling often overshadowing his actual music output in recent years. He knows how to keep conversations spinning with nothing more than a screenshot and a cutting caption. T.I., while not as naturally comedic in his delivery, brings an element of Southern fire and passion, speaking with conviction that resonates with his base of loyal fans. The exchanges also highlight how beef has evolved in hip-hop culture. In the past, rivalries were often settled on wax, with diss tracks like Ether, Hit 'Em Up, or Back Down serving as weapons of war. Today, the battlefield has shifted. While songs still play a role, social media has become the primary stage. Posts are immediate, reactions are instant, and the court of public opinion decides winners and losers in real time. The feud between 50 and T.I. embodies this shift perfectly. It's less about who drops the harder verse and more about who lands the sharper punchline in the digital arena. Yet underneath the entertainment lies a deeper question. What does this feud actually mean for their legacies? 50 Cent, now more of a businessman than an active recording artist, has little to lose. His reputation as hip-hop's most relentless troll is already cemented. If anything, feuds like this keep him relevant, reminding younger fans of the brash personality that made him famous in the first place. For T.I., however, the stakes are higher. Still actively building his legacy in music, media, and beyond, he risks having his career narrative overshadowed by old controversies and 50's never-ending stream of mockery. But T.I. embraces this risk, insisting that standing tall against a heavyweight like 50 proves his own staying power. Fans, of course, are the real winners. Every jab, every repost, every sarcastic caption gives the culture something to dissect. Social media lights up with debates. Who would win a versus battle? Whose catalog holds up stronger over time? Who has the bigger cultural impact? These debates are fueled by nostalgia for the early 2000s, when both artists were at their peak, and by the ongoing hunger for spectacle that has always been at the heart of hip-hop. What makes their rivalry so enduring is that it is both deeply personal and widely symbolic. On the surface, it's just two rappers trading insults online, but beneath it lies decades of regional competition, questions of authenticity, and the ever-present struggle for respect and recognition in a genre where perception is everything. Every post is layered, not just a shot at one man, but a shot at what he represents. And the truth is, both 50 Cent and T.I. thrive in this environment. Conflict fuels them, energizes their fan bases, and keeps their names alive in a crowded cultural landscape. Neither man has shown any intention of stepping back. Instead, they seem to feed off each other, locked in a battle that blurs the line between performance and reality, between trolling and truth. So, as the feud continues to unfold online, one thing is clear: this isn't just petty dramas, hip-hop history playing out in real time. Whether it ends in a versus showdown, another wave of Instagram memes, or simply fades into the next controversy, the digital war between 50 Cent and T.I. has already carved out its place in the ongoing story of rap rivalries. And as long as both men have Wi-Fi and an audience, the fire will keep burning, one post at a time.
Very great day, everybody. How's yeah, man. What going on, y'all? I heard it's 50 Cent birthday. Well, happy birthday, 50. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you for, you know what I'm saying, staying down, remaining healthy, alive, and free for so long, man. But for your birthday, I offer you a challenge, sir. Pull your ass up, man, with 20 of your records, man. Sit across from me, man, and get this work, man. You know what I'm saying? But I understand if you don't want to answer to that challenge, because last time you got challenged, Kanye West dusted your ass off. So, you might not want to do that. So, well, guess who ain't scared of your mother? Look, man, pull up. Pull on up. Pull on up, man. Pull on up, 50. Bring your ass on outside, 50. Bring your ass on out. Know what I mean? Bring your ass on out. Bring your records. Bring your hit records with you. You and Dr. Dre and Eminem and all y'all, goddamn the G-Unit, all y'all bring y'all ass on out. Come on, see the king. Come on, see the king. And I actually, you know, me and you, we all right. I fuck with you, 50. I fuck with you, 50. It ain't you this time. It's your catalog that got some trouble. You understand? Your mother catalog is in trouble.
T.I. has never been shy about challenging 50 Cent. And during one heated moment, he called for the Queens rapper to bring his hits and come get this smoke. Framing himself as the voice of the South, Tip reminded everyone that he's the self-proclaimed king, below the Mason-Dixon line. For him, this wasn't just about a personal rivalry, it was about standing up for the South against years of dismissive attitudes from New York artists. New York rappers been slick talking about us for years, T.I. declared. They come down here, party in our clubs, shop in our malls, but when they go back home, they act like it's slow down south. That stops now. He challenged 50 directly, saying the G-Unit boss either needed to accept a versus showdown or back out publicly. Those are the only two options. He said. Tip made it clear he was ready to back his words with action. Even joking about crashing 50's birthday celebration. I'll show up. Wish him happy birthday. Then ask him what he's really gonna do. For T.I., this wasn't just about music, it was about respect. I'm doing this for my people, he said. If it's Atlanta versus New York, I'm the one you have to go through. Rumors have also swirled about T.I. potentially being cut from one of 50 Cent's Power spin-offs, but Tip quickly shut that down. According to him, the two had been working on a completely separate project outside of the Power universe. Despite their fiery exchanges, he insisted there's no real animosity. We play rough, but there ain't no issue. I'm the only one not offended by his bluntness, and he's not offended by mine. So while the online feud keeps fans entertained, it seems both men know how to blur the line between competition and actual conflict. Still, with their history, the tension between them is far from finished.